Hey, Real Nerds listeners, there's many ways you can interact with the Real Nerds podcast. You can email us at realnerds@gmail.com. You can hit us on Twitter @RealNerds. You want to check us out on Facebook? You can. Just look for Real Nerds Podcast. You want to leave us a voicemail? Just call 720-6NERDS5. You want to listen to our episodes? You can check us out on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
I'm Andre Gower.
And I'm Ryan Lambert.
And you're listening to
Real Nerds Podcast.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Pop Culture Con 2021 and beyond, which is happening in May. I'm Ryan, and hopefully this is our last Zoom for a long time. With me is Brad, Zach, and Corinne. And for the past 18 weeks, we have been Zooming and talking about retro movies. And Kellen's going back to school tomorrow.
Good luck, kid.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Don't touch things.
Yeah.
Stay away from people.
Actually, our county's only had 31 cases, so we're pretty low. Yeah. We're pretty good. So every week we've been doing retro films, and this week was actually the 10th anniversary of one of the coolest movies of all time. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is our retro film of the week. We'll also talk about movie news, movies we've been watching, and some Blu-rays that are coming out. And we're also going to be going around town in a segment we call Brad is looking for something to do around town. And he's found it in the form of drive-in movie theaters.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
That was like a Michael Scott headline on a newspaper.
Just gets longer and longer. There's not a lot to do around town, so I expanded my search and found 2 more drive-in theaters, so I'm reporting on 3 nowadays. Deadline up at the 88 Drive-In goes through August 21st.
Family-friendly one.
I'm sure I won't get this episode up before then, so it doesn't even matter.
Well, you caught up this week, so that's good.
I did. I edited my ass off yesterday. That was
I got to go to the 88 Drive-In, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. It was interesting. I kind of liked it better than the Denver Mart, just because the drive-in I went to as a kid was a little bit more like that, where it had like the dirt parking lot and the concessions were in like the building in the back, and even had like the little animation with like the pickles or something at the beginning.
Let's all go to the movies.
Yep.
Yeah, the Denver Mart, it's kind of, it's a parking lot, so that's really all you do is kind of just park and then watch the movie. They have concessions booth, but it's limited. You're not supposed to.
Wasn't the layout and the how they park you at the 88 Drive-In is better?
Yeah.
Rather than just first come, first serve, it's more like, hey, shorter cars up front, taller cars in the back, like trucks and SUVs and stuff.
Yeah, when I talked about my trip to the Denver Mart, they said alternate parking spaces.
Right.
And people freaking put 2 spaces between each other and totally messed everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, speaking of the Denver Mart Drive-In, Ryan, you're going to be very excited to hear this one. Well, not this one. This weekend, August 21st, the lineup is Shrek and the Great Outdoors. But the following weekend, August 28th, is a double feature of Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home.
Oh, shit. That's my birthday, too. It's the 29th.
It is.
Yeah. That's like they knew.
And I recommend getting your tickets as soon as possible because these usually sell out 2 weeks in advance. So,
are they showing it on Sunday? Because I work Friday and Saturday.
Yep, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh shit, I might do that.
So, yeah, let me know. I'll join you.
Yeah, for sure. See what's up with my wife if she's working, and if not, if she is, I'll have to find a babysitter for my kid because he's going back to school. I could keep him up till like 11 o'clock midnight watching Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, they started at 8, so it'd probably end by like 11.
Well, if they start at 8, they're both 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be rough.
That's awesome.
And then lastly, the Holiday Twin is currently showing the Lego Batman movie and The Dark Knight
Yes.
through
That's
Friday.
awesome.
So I'll be checking that out tomorrow or Wednesday. And that's what's going on around town. Oh,
Love
except
it.
for one more thing. Bad news for once we come out of this pandemic. The Esquire might not make it. It is currently up for sale as a building because Landmark Theaters has decided to just not pay their lease
Wow.
quarterly. So the property is owned by a family. It's a generational asset, and so they're asking for $3.3 million to sell it, which means it'll probably become condos unless Landmark just goes ahead and pays that back rent. They're willing to let them stay.
Is the back rent $3.3 million, or that's how much the property is?
That's how much the property's worth to
Well,
buy.
But if you haven't had, and did they say how long they haven't paid rent for?
Probably since March, right? So that's like $2,000 a month.
Oh, it's probably more than that. How big square footage is the Esquire? How many screens are there?
I don't know. They said the property taxes for a year
So-
are $31,000, so that's like
Yeah.
$2,000 a month, right?
Yeah, but then you still have to pay. Do they own the actual building?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah.
I mean, the family owns the building. They're just leasing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, they haven't been like running power or water, so
Wow.
that'd be like something like $3,000 a month or something. So
So I mean,
that's
even if you're being
4
conservative,
months.
it's still like 25 grand, almost.
They haven't paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Breaks my heart. It's like my favorite theater. So, and who will do the midnights? I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of the first independent theaters I ever went to. So, or like theaters that showed independent films. So it's a travesty, man.
I guess when I started doing the midnights, it was at the Mayan. So
Mhm.
I guess if they really wanted to lose that property, I would go back there. But Mayan's cool, man. Or the Esquire's cool, man.
Oh yeah, loads of fun.
I'm sorry to say that I've never been to the Esquire.
Uh,
I've driven
never
by it
will.
many times, but never been in.
Yeah, I drove by it yesterday just to see what's going on, and like some of the parts of the sign are broken, and
That sucks. Remember when? How long ago was that, Brad? When every week they showed another Evil Dead. Like the first week was Evil Dead, second week was Evil Dead 2, then Army of Darkness. That was
Like
what, 10 years ago?
2003, 2004.
Wow. All I know is I won trivia every night.
That's right.
Crushed it.
the
Yeah.
movie theater I had was going with Brad to the Midnight of Suspiria
Oh.
back in March. Yeah, so at the Esquire. So it was
Suspiria is okay.
that was a fun movie to go to at midnight, and if this theater does go, that's a great way to cap the multiple times that I went to those midnights.
I always want to get the 4K of it because I love the box art with like the chick hanging from a noose,
Yeah,
and it's all like looks like a painting.
but you just
and
don't
it's-
like the movie that much.
The movie's okay. Coming up on Blueberry, I don't know how far away it is because I literally pulled all of my movies that I haven't watched and put them on the bottom shelves of my Blu-ray shelves, and I just
Right.
mixed them all up. But the remake of Suspiria is in there somewhere. I think it's maybe 4 or 5 away.
Gotcha.
So I'm not exactly sure. So if I can find the 4K of Suspiria cheaper than $40, which it is right now, then I might.
It's Synapse too, so you'd be getting some decent quality. I know
Yeah,
that.
well, that's why it's 40. That's like their zombie and
yeah,
all their other stuff. I mean, they're not a huge like manufacturer of Blu-rays, so
right. They're not a big retro title thing either. But the 4K version that they have put out as recent as that Blu-ray release is the one we saw in the theater, and it looks fantastic.
Yep.
So, anyway,
So 2 weeks in a row, we're putting a call out to any angel investors who want to save the Kyle Coins, Cards, and Comics, or
yeah, billionaires.
Esquire.
I think we're shit out of luck for coins. Cards and Comics.
Yeah.
I was there last week, just talking to Brandon, and so this week is the last week of new comics, and they're going to stay open on Friday and Saturday throughout September. If you buy more than $25 in back issues, you get another 25% off. So you can save a lot of money. And oh yeah, my wife is like, really? Because I've gone like 2 weeks in a row and I've spent like $80. Because here's the thing: is like they started putting more comics on the ceiling too. So I got like What If #1, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four, which is only $15, but when you get two $15 comics, then your regular comics, and then you're filling in holes of all your other stuff, it adds up. But another reason why is they know me so well. So anything with Green Goblin, Harley Quinn, I've been collecting a lot of Poison Ivy lately. They're like, oh, we'll put this aside for Ryan. He'll just buy it. He doesn't care. And so I went in on Friday, I don't remember. And Brandon's like, hey man, I know you've been getting Poison Ivy stuff lately. And this one of my hold slot guys ordered a statue and he didn't want it. Do you want it for half off? I'm like, sure. So I got a new really cool Poison Ivy statue where she's coming out of like a blooming flower for $20. So
I heard Bruce has like offers from Goodwill to buy the property. So
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll sell the property. But here's my plea with people who like comic books. Is I shared this with Brad. There's a certain huge buyer in Colorado that offered coins cards 10 cents for every issue they have. So they're really trying to undermine them. And I can understand 10 cents for, issues that won't move anyways. But they're still offering 10 cents, and they have Amazing Spider-Man #5 there and things like that. So you should go down and support them because they've been in the community for a really long time. And Bruce wants to retire, and, just support him. And you're going to get great deals anyways. Like I said, I got the What If #1 for $15.
And their graphic novels are 50% off.
Yeah, and and the week before I got this really dorky Detective Comics where Batgirl gets her mind wiped for like $10. So, just help them out if you can. Throw them a few bucks.
Yeah, support the comics.
Yeah.
I already have like a pretty complete collection of turtles, but I kind of still want to clean them out and just get doubles.
What's funny is I did that on a couple Spider-Mans just because it was weird. I didn't know they were selling the ceiling books for half off until I texted you that day, and they've pretty much cleaned out the Spider-Mans. But I went back and I picked up a couple comics I had already because the first volume of Spider-Man, I think they have like 5 issues left, and so I just got a couple like early 200s and things like that just because I don't want anybody else to have them because I'm greedy.
Yeah, I just went through a bunch of back issues and then stocked my hold slot with them, so that I can, as time goes on, just buy a few. And then if you have a hold
slot there, Brandon's pretty cool because I did that too. Because I already had I think it was like $60 something worth of comics last week, and I wanted to complete my run of DC Comics Bombshells. And so it's like another 8 or 9 comics, which, it's only going to be like $27, $28. But when you start getting to a point where you're like, go get groceries or buy more comics. But yeah, it's tough. I went and got a hold slot at another comic store, and I've never felt more weird in my life getting another hold slot. And I was debating between getting a hold slot or just having them shipped to my house. And then I was talking to my wife, and I said, I don't want comic stores to go away. And I know my little $30 or $40 a month, I don't know if it helps them. But at the same time, I'm going to go to comic stores. I'm going to support local businesses. And so I changed it up to Hero Headquarters, which is on 88th and Sheridan. And they give you 10% off their comics if you do a hold slot. And they've been there since 1984. And they're really nice guys. They've always been pretty nice to me every time I've gone in there. So
yeah. Every time I'm in there, the owner catches people like not wearing a mask properly, and he'll just straight out call them out on it.
Nice.
In a nice way.
Yeah, well, you should. Like, really, you can't do it. I think they should do the mandate until the end of the year and get through flu season. Because fuck this shit. I'm tired of it. Tired of this shit. I'm tired.
Yeah, I signed up at Mile High just because I was like, they're the least likely to go out of business.
Yeah, I didn't understand. They ship them to you. You can't pick them up at the store.
No.
I didn't understand their website at all. So I was like, fuck them.
Yeah, I said the website I couldn't figure out, so I just went in directly and talked to the guy behind the counter, and it's pretty much the same, except that you kind of have to put a deposit down. But
a deposit?
Yeah, so I put $30 down, and then whatever books come in, they just subtract from that until it's gone. So
okay, I was like, they charge you for the hold slot? I thought you'd have to buy the comics too. I just given them the middle finger.
No, so, they're ordering 2 months out, so it's just make sure that people are honoring the stuff that they're going to get in, because they're not buying new comics either. So yeah, unless you have a hold slot.
I know they're really cutting back, and it's sad. But, that's part of news too, because Time Warner cut a lot of staff.
Yeah.
Hey, this is real news.
It's real news.
So,
Zach? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm still here. There was in the midst of the merger with AT&T and Warner, they laid off over 600 people. After
I always think it's really shitty because Disney did it too. You buy a company, and it's the first thing you do is fuck all these people.
It's their way of asserting control and dominance. Because
no, it is. It's
world does
shitty.
Not give a shit.
With 20th Century, no longer Fox, Disney did the same thing. They said, "Oh, see ya."
Yeah, Ryan, don't get me started on how much I want to strangle the mouse right now. But yeah, no, and amongst other things, it's funny. Brad was informing me a little bit more about this because I wasn't so privy to it. But I guess that DC Comics, as a result, shut down a lot of their different divisions. So
25%.
Yeah, so collectible toys are now gone. What's the other stuff, Brad, that you were telling me earlier? I'm sorry.
They're canceling a bunch of underperforming books.
Did you read the interview with Jim Lee?
A little bit.
No.
He said that 25% of their books weren't breaking even. So everything that's been canceled, as well, I'm guessing Harley Quinn isn't part of it, but stuff like Batgirl, Aquaman, Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Hawkeye,
so they canceled Hawkeye.
Hawkman.
Yeah, Hawkman. Yeah, sorry.
Hellblazer or Constantine.
Yep. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's a tough industry, but I feel the same thing about digital movies. It's not that people don't want it, is the companies are forcing you to go digital.
They're giving you no other option.
Because I was reading, and I'm sure the pandemic has some to do with it, but I was reading an article where Blu-rays and DVD sales are really high over last year, something like 20 or something, 25%.
Yeah.
So I know people are buying because they're stuck at home, but I've said it on the show before. Streaming and digital content makes you believe that they have everything when they don't, and they're forcing you, just like CDs. They're forcing you to go digital. It's not that they can't do it or it costs them a lot of money. It's you're going to go digital.
Yeah.
Which is the saddest thing. And, I knew this was coming for a long time because they're already talking about it, because they also put up their gaming division for sale. So stuff, the teams that make Arkham Knight and Mortal Kombat and games like that are up for sale. And what they got back from EA and Rockstar and stuff like that is they don't want to buy the whole division. They're putting offers on franchises. So, they don't want all of it. They want Mortal Kombat and they want the name. I would think that something like Mortal Kombat's big enough now that they could just publish their own games, but who knows? Anyways.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth in what you've been saying. I mean, we've all known about this for years. This isn't a new phenomenon, but I'm not going to spoil what the next subject is for the series that I'm going to be doing, but I've been trying to allocate Blu-rays and DVDs of the different films from the two filmmakers I'll be tackling. And we talked about it a couple months ago that Twilight Time folded.
Mm-hmm.
So they've put me in this position where either I have to set myself aside to just a DVD, or I pay $131 for a very specific film that'd be key to the series on Blu-ray if I want to see it in the best quality possible. And I'm not happy about that. I'm really not.
As long as you don't get a horrible transfer, DVDs don't look that bad on 4K TVs.
No, but that's the thing. I can't get any confirmation that the DVD version of this film looks any good. It's a Kino. It's an early Kino, but I don't know what early Kino looks like. And on top of that, there's other ones that where the titles are moving toward digital, like you can't even find like a decent copy of it without paying upward of $50 minimum for like a movie that if you find it on DVD, which it's overstocked in, is like $10. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I can't even get the best possible version of a movie that like it's not like I'm telling you that I would ignore it. I want the movie. So, and a lot of it also has to do with things being out of print, but Twilight Times also is because that place is folded. Getting a Twilight Time Blu-ray is going to be very difficult unless it's like a title nobody wants. So,
of course, Zach, I'm going to recommend that you check your local library to see if they have the movies that you need. They might not have it on Blu-ray, but they might have it on DVD.
Yeah,
And,
well, if I'm going to get the DVD, I could just purchase it. Like local library, if I got it, I'd want to make sure I get Blu-ray copies so I can get the best possible viewing experience. Part of it's also I want to own them. Like it's similar to how I did Hitchcock, where I want to own the things that I'm studying, So
that's fair. At least my library district, I've only ever rented like one movie that was a Blu-ray from them, and that was Belle, which was like 2016, something right there. But yeah, anything that's like older is more likely just going to be DVD.
Right. But yeah, like I say, it's all frustrating, and the AT&T news and whatnot. This is just another instance of the corporate merging. Another big piece of news that came out through is that the Paramount decree is officially kaput. This is not a good
thing. But we knew
thing.
that was coming, though.
Well, we knew it was coming, but here's the thing that we need to reiterate to the audience. It's not a good thing. If you think that studios owning their own theater chains again is a good idea, you need to remember when the studio system was in existence and how it strangled other independent theater owners, and it limited the exposure of movies outside of the studio system. It's not a good thing, guys. It's going to limit the amount of voices that come out of the industry.
Yeah.
But
all your art house films, you'll probably, if Disney owns AMC or Regal Theaters, like you're not going to get to see, much of like all those indie things that like the Alamo and Landmark get.
And the big thing about this is that, like in the Hollywood Reporter article that talked about the decree being null and void now, is that there are studios and distributors making the pact that they're not going to abuse the system, and I can only roll my eyes at that. Yes, exactly. You can't see it, but Brad just did the jerk-off motion. It's hilarious. But yeah, so I'm going to try to find something positive, guys. Can I give you guys a positive piece of news? Weezer's doing a song for the new Bill and Ted movie.
Yeah, did you watch the video? It's awesome.
I know. It's really awesome, isn't it? It's beginning of the end. Which at first I almost thought Smashing Pumpkins' beginning is the end is the beginning is the end. No, it's a great video. You should check it out. It's strewn all about the news sites at this point. And also, Bela Lugosi is coming back as Dracula, guys, in a new comic that's coming in October. And it looks fucking cool, and I want it. The good news is that Bella's son approved everything, so it's all Image licensed, approved by the family. So you're gonna get Dracula in a comic book form, guys. It's gonna be awesome. And then let's see, Warner Brothers is putting out a movie called Tenet, as we all know. It's gonna save movies, guys. Don't worry.
It's definitely coming out to Colorado September 3rd. I just got an alert on my Regal app about it.
I know. And,
I think tickets go on sale Sunday.
I've
got to stay by the phone on Sunday. But here's the thing:
also, it's going to be showing Inception in the IMAX for the 10th anniversary.
Yeah,
it's next week.
Yep. And when you go to see Tenet, Warner Brothers is asking for 63% of the box office from the theaters, which is way higher than they usually ask for the percentage during initial release. So this is this is a sign that Warner Brothers is struggling to justify a lot of their high-end releases if they're asking for that much percentage from the theater, which also needs to stay alive.
Well, so right now everybody's hurting.
Yeah.
And I mean, theaters are hurting, but too, I mean, you're talking about I know they're a huge corporation, but they're taking billion-dollar hits right now. That's a lot of money.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's completely unjustified.
There's got to be some, I don't know. It's right now everything kind of sucks. So I keep on looking for things that will go back to being somewhat normal with, with safety precautions intact. And, the thing that's drives me crazy about movie theaters is just before we started, I literally got an ESPN alert that they're saying, oh, well, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to let 22,000 people into their stadium. And you go, well, and it's approved. And you go, well, I don't understand this stuff. It's been driving me crazy ever since this has begun. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just everybody is just shooting from the hip, basically.
Oh yeah, they're not. They are not. They're not adjusting to the fact that things have radically been upended. They are just trying to, as you said, shooting from the hip. They're rolling a dice and seeing what happens. Like, there's a possibility, and I don't want to, knock wood, but theaters reopen 2 weeks later, they get closed down again because something happens.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I know Ryan and I kind of talked about this before when the Disney announced that Mulan would be streaming on Disney Plus, but you have to rent it. And it's $30 to rent it, which is, I think, outrageous. But
I think so too. And Corinne,
it's like what you were saying. Like they're just they have to charge that much just to break even at this point, or even not even break even, but just decrease their losses as much as possible. And it makes sense if like a household like yours, like where there's 3 or 4 people buys it, and it's like, okay, that's about the equivalent of what you would get to pay to go to a movie theater. But like I live basically alone, so I mean, buying it just to watch it by myself would be ridiculous.
Well, it's I on the Variety they said 65% Disney Plus subscribers have to order it for it to break even. And this is another thing. And I here's my whole take on this. I understand what Disney has, but they decided to yank it, and now movie theaters are opening. And, I thought for a long time, they're like, oh, they're only going to have Tenet. They're only going to have Unhinged. So maybe like 3 or 4 movies. You pull up the Regal app, they literally have classic movies playing all month long. So they're not really that spreading that many things out. They could have made room for Mulan. I'm telling people, I don't think you should order it on Disney Plus, because if you order it on Disney Plus and they make money off of it, you're setting a precedent for Disney to go, well, whatever, we'll just put it straight to Disney Plus and charge $30 and we can still make $250 million, where we're not having to pay the theater. We're not having to pay distributors. We don't have to spend as much on marketing, because we can just put a banner on top of Disney Plus saying, coming September 3rd, Mulan. It's setting a really dangerous precedent if you like going to the movies.
Also, if you're a filmmaker, like imagine being excited about mixing things in 7.1 or shooting an IMAX, and suddenly you're like, well, this is just going to go on someone's phone or TV with no surround sound system.
And that's another, you brought up a point, Brad, which is shitty. So the director of Mulan is a great director, but she's only made one independent film or something like that.
Yeah.
And you have someone like Christopher Nolan going to Warner Brothers and says, no, you're releasing this movie in theaters because I won't let you release it on, digital platform.
And that's a big testament to the power that Nolan's held over the industry for years. But
it's also shitty because the young woman who directed Mulan can't walk into Disney's offices and say, no, you have to show this in the theater.
Which,
there's a disparity there because only someone as powerful as Christopher Nolan, who's made billions of dollars, has the clout to say something like that. And I'm not saying Christopher Nolan's wrong. I'm just saying it's bullshit.
Yep, and it also is a two-puncher because it's also yet another female voice in the industry being made to believe that her voice won't matter if she stands up and says, "Hey, put my film in a fucking movie theater where it fucking belongs. It's an epic. Mulan's an epic. It needs a big screen."
Thanks for taking away my opportunity to break records.
Yeah, I can see like what Ryan said about, this could set a precedent if it does well enough, but I think it could also go the other way, that if people watch it at home and they like it, and they do like a social media campaign that's like put Mulan in the theaters, and the theaters can stay open long enough and be sustainable, that maybe in November Disney's like, okay, we'll put it in the theater and like people can go see it for Christmas or something.
I have a weird feeling that might happen anyways. Because here's the thing, is if I was the movie theaters, I would do a really hard pushback if they said you need to close again. Because what's the evidence of people going to a movie theater that's directly tied to them getting this virus? They don't have it. And they can't say anything because there's thousands of people walking the streets every night, hundreds of people going to churches.
Well, but it might be more on the employee side, not necessarily on the guest side. Like if there's an outbreak among the employees, then they're going to have to
no, I understand that. But if there's an outbreak of the employees, why don't they just shut that theater down for a few days, get people tested, and you don't have to shut the whole system down. That's all I'm saying. That's what really irritates me right now is you can have all these events. You can have, I wasn't watching, but I was flipping through, and there's cornhole on ESPN, and they had people in the stands with like spaces in between them. So what's the difference? There is no difference. It's just
their outdoor events are better right now, just because if you have any kind of air circulation, that's definitely a hit against you.
Well, I know, I understand the science behind it. I'm just saying,
They have outdoor movie. Like if the drive-in started showing Mulan or Tenet or whatever, like that might work.
Yeah. Anyways, that's just me bitching because I'm tired of this shit.
I understand, Ryan.
I'm getting stir crazy.
Can I cheer you up a little bit with some Seth MacFarlane news?
Sure.
Seth MacFarlane's gonna move on from comedy to drama. He's developing a drama series called The Winds of War, based on a Herman Wouk novel. He'll be working it with the alienist Seth Fisher, and he's calling it the next phase of his career. And this is part of his $200 million overall deal with NBC Universal. So I'd like to see what Seth MacFarlane does with drama. I'm curious.
He's a great performer.
He is. I'm curious what this will be. But I do not deny that he has an intelligent mind at his helm. So odds are he is going to be just fine. And then the last piece of news is a fun thing that we can all enjoy. Does anybody remember Steven Spielberg's Director's Chair? It's a 90s computer game where you learn from Spielberg in a rather half-assed way how to make movies through your CD-ROM computer game. This little game featured appearances by such people as Quentin Tarantino, Jennifer Aniston, and Penn and Teller, playing actors in the movie that you would get to choose basically how the movie would be formed based on different takes and such. A programmer decided that he was just going to make it a Bandersnatch type of thing, if you recall the Black Mirror Bandersnatch thing, where it's now a choose your own adventure type of thing.
Nice.
And it's pretty adorable. I like the fact that somebody took this crazy misguided 90s computer game and turned it into what we all really wanted. And if you watch Quentin Tarantino's footage in it, it's weird. And yeah, that's news.
No, it's not, Zach. You missed some bits of news from the world of animation.
Uh-oh. What did I miss, Corinne?
All right, the Avatar: The Last Airbender creators, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, have left the live-action Netflix adaptation. It seems like it was over creative differences, so of course the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender fandom got really upset about that. And everyone's really suspicious of Netflix right now.
I think Netflix is trying to get M. Night Shyamalan to come back. No, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Because it would be cool if they would stick with it and that Netflix would not rear its ugly head into that creative business. Because if they can leave Scorsese alone, I'm sure that they can leave those guys alone.
Speaking of Avatar: The Last Airbender, that it's on Netflix right now. It came on a couple of months ago. It's gained a lot of popularity. But on Friday, its sequel series, The Legend of Korra, dropped, and it's been trending on Netflix, so you should all check that out. I'll be talking about it a little bit later, maybe.
That's not really news, Corinne.
Yeah, it is.
Not?
You know what? It's news that if James, if you're still listening to this show, you will like this news.
And then
But
the last thing I wanted to mention is that in May, they announced that Inuyasha, which was a popular anime from like late 2000s or whatever, is going to get a sequel series. And then last week they dropped a trailer for it. So my inner 13-year-old has been doing cartwheels ever since.
Aw, that's cool.
So not really news, more of Korean happy time is what we're going to call this.
I
Well,
like
I'm just
Corinne
saying,
Happy Time.
I don't remember why I didn't mention the fact that the sequel got announced whenever it was announced in May on the show, but I'm telling the people listening at home right now,
Don't watch it. I want another
Josh
season.
is going to get a sequel series, and it's going to be awesome. I think
No, it's probably going to be derivative of the first one.
it's supposed to come out in October, so we will find out then.
I don't know. I'm just trying to pick a fight with you.
That's fine. I'm above that now, Ryan.
Good. Pride and Prejudice is awful. Zach, movies are coming out on Blu-ray.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
So we didn't do a segment last week, but I want to let the world know that you can now, at the very last, through Warner Archive, get John Travolta in Michael on Blu-ray.
Nice.
So if you were wanting Michael on Blu-ray, congratulations, your long wait has been rewarded.
That movie poster and the one for October Sky always bothered me.
October
It's
Sky.
just John Travolta like looking over his right shoulder and smiling.
Yeah, and let me tell you though, October Sky is less egregious than Michael.
Whatever, October Sky, everyone's like this.
That they're looking up at the stars. Michael's looking at you, and it's weird. But in this week's news, Flash Gordon has gotten a 4K via Arrow.
Yeah.
So you can get that on 4K. Along with, they also put out the complete collection of Gamera. If you recall, Gamera is friend to children. Let's see, Scream Factory is putting out Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell.
Yes.
Ryan, you have that on pre-order?
I have no idea. I think that's a Hammer film, though, if I remember correctly.
Yep,
I
it's
could
a
be
Hammer
wrong.
film, and you can get it.
I've been watching a lot of Hammer stuff lately, though. Their stuff's pretty good.
Oh God, Hammer's fun, dude. Like it'd be cool if Scream could get not all of them, but like the big essentials. Like
I think they pretty much do now. They have, I think, 3 Draculas. I watched Curse of the Werewolf. Did I talk about that last couple weeks ago?
no,
so.
you didn't. But you talked about Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
I didn't talk about Curse of the Werewolf?
Nope.
No. We'll talk about it this week.
But I was going to say though, last week they did put out their Phantom of the Opera one.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get that one, but then I was reading a review of it on Blu-ray.com, and in the special features, you know who originally was supposed to be the Phantom?
Oh God,
Fucking Cary Grant. I
trailed off there. All I heard was Phantom of the Opera. What are you talking about?
So Hammer released a Phantom of Hammer films, and I think it's late 60s, early 70s.
It's at 62.
Is this the
I
one where
believe.
he gets acid thrown on his face?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I was reading
Is this the Universal Monster movie?
No, it's Hammer.
No. This is a Hammer version of the Phantom of the Opera from 1962.
Yeah,
that stars Herbert Lom and Heather Sears and Michael Goff.
In the special features, I was reading the film historian who's on them, or someone talking about the film, mentioned that this was a passion project for Cary Grant, and he decided not to do it, but he almost did his only horror film. Well, notorious kind of. Article Lace is like a black comedy. I mean, it deals with serial killers, but
yeah, I'm just
but
imagining.
It's one of those things where Cary Grant, if anytime from the 40s to about the mid 60s, he's probably mentioned in every movie. But I thought it'd been cool if he was the Phantom, but I think he said he was too old to play the Phantom.
Christine, don't look at my face. It's terrifying. Not a great imitation, but
that was horrible.
Like the idea. I like the idea of him doing that.
Yes, me too.
Oh God. But hey, Ryan, do you also like? I know you like Cary Grant, but do you like Batwoman?
Yeah, I love Batwoman.
You can get the first season of the Batwoman show on Blu-ray.
I have not seen the show. The comic is great.
Oh, right on. I heard they changed Batwoman in the middle of the series. So
No, it'll be next season. I think is the new Batwoman. You can watch all about it at DC Fandom, which is August 21st and 22nd.
Yeah. Speaking of more DC, Deathstroke: Knights and Dragons, the movie, is coming to Blu-ray and DVD. So I'm not a Deathstroke familiar. I know that he popped up at the end of a certain movie that was not directed by Zack
Joss
Snyder.
Whedon's Justice League.
Yeah, Joss Whedon's. Yeah. And let's move on to a positive news. Hey guys, the 9th, or no, I'm sorry, not the 9th. Another of the American Pie Presents movies is coming to Blu-ray. American Pie Presents Beta House. I need somebody to explain to me why I can't get a collector's edition of Radioland Murders, but we get American Pie Presents Beta House on Blu-ray.
Obviously, they still sell really well.
Who's buying them, Ryan? Who?
I have no idea. I haven't seen. Well, I did see the one with Stifler's brother. I don't even know which one is that. Bandcamp or?
It sounds like that or the Naked Mom.
American Pie Presents Stifler's brother. I don't know.
Sean William Scott has like a second long cameo. And let's move on to something classy. Criterion's putting out The Comfort of Strangers, which is a Paul Schrader movie. So if you'd like to check that out, it's got Christopher Walken in it, so you can't go wrong there. Back over to Kino Lorber, they are putting out Soldier Blue with Candice Bergen, Peter Strauss, and Donald Pleasance.
Candice Bergen. I used to love Murphy Brown.
Dude, I like Candice Bergen, not just because she's a talented actress, but her father was a ventriloquist, a great ventriloquist, the only good one. But she's also good in she's good in Gandhi. She's pretty good in Gandhi.
Yep.
And then Ryan, I've got some news for you that I'm sure you already have on the way over. Frederick March, Cary Grant, Carol Lombard, and Jack Oakey all in one movie. Yeah, it's called The Eagle and the Hawk, and it's coming to your Blu-ray players courtesy of Kino Lorber. I should have this on the way, except I didn't pre-order it, so I'll have to just go ahead and order it.
You stupid motherfucker.
You know what? I'm an idiot because, well, actually, I'm not an idiot because I was able to procure stuff for the next series that is going to be very helpful.
Oh, no, it's I tell everybody it's the Cary Grant movie that surprised me the most watching it, just because how incredibly dark the film is. And I don't know if it's the first film to deal with PTSD from war, but Frederick Mark plays a great fighter pilot. He's the Eagle. Cary Grant's the Hawk because he's the lookout guy. Like, so in biplanes, you had the pilot, and then the guy behind you was kind of your navigator. And, everybody's cheering every time he comes back and shoots down the enemy, but Frederick Mark does not like it, and he suffers from depression from it. And him and Cary Grant have a rivalry. It's a really great film.
Yeah.
Carol Lombard's in it for maybe 5 minutes, but she's amazing in the film.
5 minutes of Carol Lombard is worth 90% of my time anytime.
I did read that the reason she decided to be in that film for only that amount of time, because it's 1932, so she was kind of starting to establish herself, but because she loved the script so much and she thought the character she played was so important that she was okay with not being in the film that long.
There you go. Well, that's
so you should really check it out, because even the airplane fights are pretty incredible.
Oof. If you can get aerial shots in the 30s that look cool that aren't done by Howard Hughes, you're in for a treat. Also from Kino Lorber, Wake Island from 1942. It's a war film with Brian Dunleavy and McDonald Carey. It's a pretty decent film. I would check it out if you've not seen Wake Island. There's your chance to go see it now. Shudder is putting out on Blu-ray Cursed Films, which is their series on cursed film sets and film productions. I have not seen the show. Have you?
High Def Digest said it's garbage. So
the show?
Yeah. It's the lowest rating I've ever seen them give a Blu-ray.
Really? Oh, I haven't watched the show yet, so
neither have I.
But at any rate, we'll go back again to something positive. Something positive. Arrow's putting out Pitch Black on 4K and Blu-ray. Oh wait, no, that's not positive. That's not positive. Yeah, Pitch Black.
It's okay.
The first of the Riddick movies. There's some dialogue in that movie that I don't appreciate.
Oh, is it Chronicles of Riddick, the second one?
Yes, it is, yes.
That one has some really offensive dialogue in it.
Yeah.
Where he's talking to Katie Sackhoff's character, and he's saying, all she needs is, like, a good dick or something like that. I can't forget exactly what's happening, and she's, like, taking her shirt off. It's really bad. And usually, you know, I don't really care about nudity and stuff like that, but it was blatant, really horrible. And I guess that's why, too, I'm not a big fan of Friday the 13th Part 5, because the nudity and some of the stuff is so gratuitous that it's stupid. And that's all I can think of. That Chronicles of Riddick, or whatever the third one, or I don't even know which one it is, put a really bad taste in my mouth that I will. I'll never watch those movies again.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find one to end on a good note, but it doesn't look like there's anything. Guys, we need movies to come back so that... Oh, wait, guys. I did find a positive one. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins from 2008, starring Martin Lawrence, is now available on Blu-ray. Is that a positive one to end on, Ryan?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, we watch movies throughout the week in a segment I call What You've Been Watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Corinne, are you still with us?
Yes.
We'll start with you.
Okay, well, I've been watching, like, all animation this week, so strap in. I revisited Avatar: The Last Airbender. Watched the whole series. It's 3 seasons, about 22 episodes per season. Fantastic show. It really, really holds up, even after, like, 10 plus years. If you don't know the story, Avatar: The Last Airbender is set in a world where people can bend the elements. And you have the 4 different nations. So 4 nations for the 4 elements. So the Fire Nation, people there can bend fire. Earth Kingdom, people there can bend earth, etc. So Aang is the last airbender because his people, the air nomads, got killed. And he is also the Avatar, which means he's the only person who can bend all 4 elements, and he's the bridge between the human world and the spirit world. Anyway, the first season's kind of not like rough, but it's rougher than the other 2 because I think they were really trying to walk the line between, like, this is a fun kid's show, but also, like, this is kind of serious subject matter. And so sometimes you have, like, this weird dissonant, like, emotional dissonance between, like, the jokes and, like, the really serious stuff that's going on. The one scene I can give you as an example is in the 3rd episode when Aang goes back to the Southern Air Temple where he's from, and he finds out that all of his people have been killed in this genocide by the Fire Nation. Is that you have this joke right when Aang is, like, finding the body of his mentor, his father figure, and then it's, like, immediately, like, the tone shifts dramatically, and it just doesn't, like, that's one thing about the show is, like, they try to cram so much in, and because they have to be family friendly, they try to keep it light with the jokes, and the jokes are very, like, 7 or 8-year-old kid based, so they're kind of, like, just wacky and funny, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but, it's a little weird when you're cutting between, like, here's this really good, like, fight choreography, and here's them trying to, like, sneak into a party. It's just a little weird sometimes. I think, like,
Or my Friday night.
Party at the Fire Nation, bruh! Woo!
I think they get better with it in the 2nd season, and in the 3rd season even more so. And then the 3rd season, I think the 3rd season is almost perfect because, like, everything kind of falls into place. This show has such great character building, such great character development. Zuko, if you don't know, has one of the best character arcs in all of fiction, and it's built up so well over book 1 and book 2, which is the first 2 seasons. And so by the time you get to book 3, you're like totally on board with like his whole character transformation. So when he gets to the end of the series and he's completed his arc, you're like, yes, you have earned this, which is what I wanted them to do for Ben Solo in the Star Wars trilogy. But alas, that is not what we got, because those people don't know how to write character arcs. They should have talked to the guys from Avatar: The Last Airbender and taken some pointers from them.
Ben Solo
Or
just
they
deserved to
should've
die.
Or they should have written a Star Wars movie.
That would have been awesome. I really think it would have been better. So like I said, the Avatar story, the universe continues in The Legend of Korra, which I've also seen, which just dropped on Netflix. So I have not watched it yet because I was trying to finish up some other shows I'll talk about in a second. But Legend of Korra is also fantastic. It deals with a lot of... It's a little bit more adult than Avatar: The Last Airbender was. So
there's fucking.
So if Last Airbender is like your 8 to 12-year-olds, then Korra is more like 13 to 15-year-olds, you know, like your preteens, early teenagers. And they do get into some really interesting things. They're allowed to be a little bit more darker. Anyway, so check it out. Both the series are on Netflix. So I watched 2 other... both anime shows. I watched Saint Seiya: The Lost Canvas after my friend Jerry recommended it to me. And it's really good, but unfortunately, it didn't get a 3rd season. So it just ends really abruptly. And it's like, imagine if the original Star Wars trilogy ended after The Empire Strikes Back, and we never got a Return of the Jedi or an Episode 6 in general. That's what Saint Seiya: The Lost Canvas does. Like, the heroes get defeated, and Hades, who's the antagonist of the series, gets away, and they have to, like, regroup, and the mentor figure of the series dies, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, what are they gonna do? And you never get to find out, because they canceled it, and they never got a 3rd season. It's bullshit, so...
Just
anyway.
like Woody's Roundup.
Yep, just like Woody's Roundup. But Saint Seiya: The Lost Canvas, I've never seen any of the other Saint Seiya stuff, but I think this was like a good introduction to it because you get an idea of how the world works, what the main conflict is, how the like different constellation cloths and all that, how they function, and the different gold saints. Basically, they just introduce a bunch of characters only to just kill them off, so it's sort of like Game of Thrones. If you're into that stuff, go watch Saint Seiya: The Lost Canvas, because you just get attached to characters and then they die. It's a great time. And then the other series I watched, completely opposite of that, is Toradora, which is a shoujo anime, so like romantic comedy, coming of age sort of thing. It's about these 5 high schoolers, and they're all like in love with each other, and oh, so-and-so likes this person who's best friends with this person, and it's kind of complicated, but it took a while for it to get going. I think I was like 4 or 5 episodes in, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep going with this, but then they introduced the 5th character, and like immediately the dynamics changed, and I think it changed for the better, so I was like, okay, I'm actually like wanting to see how this goes now. And her arc is pretty interesting. Like, she's kind of a bitch. At least initially, she puts on this facade of like she treats everyone super nice, but then like when everyone walks away, she is totally fine with like, oh, I don't have to keep this up anymore. I can be a total asshole to you right now. You know, basically the ones she doesn't have, she wants to impress certain people, and the ones she doesn't feel like she has to impress, she can be a bitch to them. But she has a nice arc over the course of the show, and I don't know, like the characters are just kind of fun and crazy, and it's a lot of like shoujo anime hijinks, so I guess if you're into that, you should check it out. And the last thing I'll talk about is I watched an anime movie called Hello World. It just came out last year, and this was something I'd never seen before. So it was like anime style, but it was 3D animation. it was really trippy. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, go to YouTube and type in Hello World trailer, and it will make a lot of sense. Basically, just imagine like what anime characters look like, and then just put them in a 3D world. Like, it's really, and it threw me off the whole movie. I didn't really like it, just the art style in general. I'm like, either you go Pixar and you just make it its own thing, or you do the hand-drawn so that it looks like everything else. But whatever. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to experiment with it. I've never seen anything like that before. But
I actually have seen something of that nature because they redid Pokemon, the first movie, as a CGI film of some sort. I saw like footage from it, and I was like, okay, I saw that, and then I moved on with my day. So I guess that's what they're trying to move in towards with anime now.
I don't like it because anime is like one of the few holdouts of hand-drawn animation. I mean, admittedly, there are some elements where it's like, yeah, you can tell like that was digitally animated. Like they do a lot of the backgrounds and a lot of like, a lot of like backgrounds and like nature settings. I'm trying to think of like an example. Your Name, which you should all go watch because it's an amazing movie. But Your Name is a great example of blending like digital animation with the hand-drawn in a way that's very seamless and very well done. So, but this was all 3D. And while it is weird to watch it, there are scenes where it's really, really cool. And they actually get to, like, it helps. Like, it works. And I don't know how to explain it without showing you clips, but it really, it's like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse kind of thing where it's like, it takes you a while to get used to the art style, but then once you're in it, you're like, okay, this is like it kind of meshes with the world and it just works out beautifully. And there's some really good animation sequences in it. And it's, okay, so Hello World is like Your Name mixed with The Matrix. It's like a love story, but they add a lot of sci-fi elements to it. So this kid, he's in high school. He's kind of a loner. He doesn't really get along with a lot of people. He's just really awkward, and he doesn't know how to express himself confidently. And one day he gets a visit from someone who we later find out is himself 10 years from the future. And he's like, hey, I'm here to help you get a girlfriend. And they're like, huh? Like, yeah, seriously, I'm here to help you get a girlfriend. So we find out that this girl that's in the kid's class, they start dating within a couple of months, and then she has an accident, and she goes into a coma, and in 10 years she is not woken up. So the older self comes back to the past. He's basically like, I want to help you not make the same mistake I did. I want to help you save her in your timeline, quote unquote. See, that's the other thing is like, so they explain how the world, the quote past, is actually a simulation, basically, or it's like a recording of the past. And so by interfering, he's able to save her in the past. It makes sense, and I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I don't know how to explain it very well. Sorry, but if you've seen The Matrix, it kind of makes sense to you. So it's like it's all like a digital world, like a simulation, and he's traveling back into the simulation to save this girl in the simulation, and then spoilers, because he wants to take her soul, in essence, and transfer it into her physical body back in the future, because she is not woken from the coma. So he wants to use the data from this new simulation to upload into his girlfriend who's in the coma. Anyway, it sounds really stupid, but it makes sense when you watch it, and it was a beautiful movie. So it's not out in the U.S. yet. So when it is, I'll let you all know. and you should check out Hello World when it becomes available on wide release. Because it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, what Corinne said.
Ryan's totally spacing out over there.
It's a Matrix.
I mean, at
kind
least
of movie.
Brad was trying to follow it. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Okay, whatever.
Zach, what'd you watch this week?
Really quickly before I do that, I wanted to say that if you were following my social media, one of my podcasting friends, Brendan Creasy, had gone missing over the last week, and it got to the point where they put a missing persons report out for him. I wanted to say that he has been found and he is getting the help he needs. So, Brendan, if you are listening, I love you, man, and I'm glad you are home safe and getting whatever help you need, brother. Moving on to what I've been watching this week, though, I rewatched a movie called F for Fake, which is an Orson Welles film. It's the last film that he did that was completed up until Other Side of the Wind got completed. And Ryan, when I was rewatching it, it's in the first couple of minutes, I was like, this is a movie Ryan might like. And then it came a movie you immediately would not like. It was like one of those things where I'm just like, oh, maybe I found the one. No. But if you don't know the movie, it's a documentary, quote unquote. It's more of like a visual essay on fakery, where Wells took footage from BBC interviews with...
Because he likes cake.
Yes, because I like cake. I like British cake. I like all kinds of cake. I'm Orson Welles. But no, he took footage from a documentary that was being made on a known art forger who was having a book written about him by Clifford Irving, who was later accused of forgery when he was claiming to have secured the rights to write the autobiography of Howard Hughes. And so the movie is essentially an essay on fakery that also includes Orson Welles' own story about faking the Martian landing for War of the Worlds. And it's still an amazing film. It's hard to sell to people other than you just have to experience this movie and get on its wavelength. I know Ryan's laughing because I see his face. But trust me when I say it's one of those criterions that I'm glad they have it, because I don't know who else would put it out. But anyway, and then I rewatched The Maltese Falcon. It's a great film.
I love that movie.
Oh God, of course it is. It's weird though. Like I put the DVD in. Like I don't even know if I need to upgrade to Blu-ray right away, because that DVD, which came out in late 2000s, early 2010s, it still looks fucking fantastic.
I can let you borrow it if you want to compare.
I'd like to. I mean, it's only $15 on Amazon. I'm going to pick it up eventually. Hint, hint. But it was just fun rewatching that film. The last time I saw it in full was probably when I went to see it at the Esquire with Brad at midnight, which was a couple of years back. And so, yeah, it's just a fun film, a good mystery story with Humphrey Bogart. Probably it's weird. Like, this is probably the most despicable Humphrey Bogart's allowed to be ever until because prior to that he was allowed to be despicable, but he would get shot at the end. He's just a straight up anti-hero who just gets to run around the room being an asshole for the purposes of being good. It's a great anti-hero role for him. He doesn't really get to play that kind of mean again on Treasure of the Sierra Madre a few years later, because then he gets Casablanca and he's more of a noble anti-hero. And then I went ahead and rewatched Citizen Kane. It's still great. Looks fantastic. Don't know what else there is to really say about that movie. And then the last thing that I did with Brad is we went up to the drive-in at Fort Collins and we watched Fiction and Reservoir Dogs on the drive-in. Man, that was a lot of fun. I think it was actually kind of perfect to watch two Quentin Tarantino movies at a drive-in. It made the most sense. The only way it would have been better is if they were showing Grindhouse. But Pulp Fiction is still great. It's not a Quentin film I go back to a lot, but I still love it. Obviously it's well written, well acted, beautifully directed. But it was definitely one of those things where, since I haven't seen the movie in like probably about 4 years, it played to me in a very interesting way, given how much we've gone through over the last 4 years with content being addressed and stuff. But like, I'll say, like, it holds up immensely well, obviously, because it's a great movie. It's going to do that. And just, it made me realize I love Martin Landau as in Ed Wood, but I really wish Samuel L. Jackson had won that fucking Oscar, because his stuff at the end in the diner where he's standing off Tim Roth and giving him the whole explanation of Ezekiel 25:17 and why he uses it is such an amazing delivery and such beautiful acting that I just it kind of frustrates me that he didn't win in that certain sense. And Reservoir Dogs, watching it on a drive-in felt kind of like, movie's grimy. It's still got it has that look of like this early 90s film that was shot for nothing. So it kind of felt perfect at the drive-in. And I was falling in love with Harvey Keitel all over again. Like, he's fucking amazing in the movie. I always drew my attention to like Tim Roth and Michael Madsen in that movie, but watching Keitel and his emotional journey throughout the 100 and something minutes of that film is great. I kind of wish Quentin had used him more than just this and Pulp Fiction, but alas, maybe we never know. Harvey Keitel's still alive, and Quentin's
He's
got
in
one
From
more
Dusk Till
film.
Dawn. I mean, it's not really a Quentin movie, but kind of is.
And he does do a voice in Inglourious Bastards for 5 seconds, but that's not really a role. That's a cameo. And so, but yeah, it was fantastic. One thing I will note, though, on the other screen, they were showing Back to the Future and Inside Out. So Inside Out is ending. The credits are rolling. At that point, the scene where Butch and Marcellus Wallace are being held in the pawn shop basement pops up, and you've got
Perfect.
them held in their chairs. I'm just like, please don't tell me any children are looking behind them from the other side of the screen to see this, unmistakably horrifying imagery. but yeah, no, it's fantastic. It was fun, and everybody had their speakers out, like, and there were lounge chairs outside for Pulp Fiction. So I would step outside and I would just listen to Pulp Fiction from the outside, and it was kind of magical, especially when they did the dance sequence at Jackrabbit Slim's. Which, by the way, if I die, I want you to spread my ashes at a Jackrabbit Slim's that you guys will have to build yourselves. And that's all I've been watching.
Brad?
Yeah, I watched a bunch of stuff. As Zach said, I watched Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs at the drive-in, and those are good movies. Reservoir Dogs, though, it's a little more bored in, because it's really a bunch of, like, a lot of the dialogue is just the characters wondering who. It's like the same scene over and over again of the characters wondering who is possibly inside.
The rat. Who's the rat?
Who's the rat? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like goes around and around a bunch of different ways.
It feels like it's a stage play, like, in a lot of ways, right? I mean,
yeah, it's a lot of it just takes place in that warehouse. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
You
was go ahead.
Like you always kind of remember like that diner scene being a large chunk of the movie, and it's really not.
Yeah, it's a great way to get you to know those characters for the most part. I was telling you when we were driving back about how a lot of what feels imperfect about Reservoir Dogs kind of gets smoothed out in The Hateful Eight in terms of delivery and presentation. Whether or not you like one over the other is entirely up to you, but
yeah. And then because the film closed in 2000, I was inspired to get back to watching the movies I said I was going to watch before the show, and so I watched Castaway, Frequency, and American Psycho again. Castaway, way shorter than I remember. Like, just flew by. Yeah, remember it being really long, and it was not this time around. So, Frequency was good too. Hadn't seen that in a while. Actually, misdescribed it on the episode. So, yeah, the son and his father don't just solve their mom's murder. Initially, his dad died. He's a firefighter. His dad's a firefighter. He dies in a fire, fighting a fire. And when they subvert that, it causes, this other event to take place that ensnares their mom. And there's like a serial killer of women in New York at the time that she's wrapped up in, and
Right.
so they end up thwarting a bunch of those murders. So yeah, totally forgot about that part of it. And then American Psycho. As I watched the bonus features, and it was really fascinating to hear more about. There's like a documentary of like Mary Harron trying to like put the movie together. I guess they were gonna. Who was it? Like Christian Bale was not. Like it was her first choice, but the studio wanted Leonardo DiCaprio at one point. And like, yeah, understandably because he was fresh off of Titanic, right? But he just like didn't have the right vibe for it. And there's also like a documentary about like the club life at the time, and so there's all these people who were in that scene talking about what it was like. It was pretty interesting. And then I watched a bunch of TV series. So first of which being Watchmen, HBO's Watchmen. Like Best Buy had the Steelbook Blu-ray for $24.99, so I capitalized on that. And I think it's like 10 episodes, maybe 12. And I'd say for like all 11 of them, I was like, where is this story going? What I'm watching is fascinating, but like I don't know what the point, like what are they building toward? Like each episode kind of has its own like encapsulated story, even though it's part of this bigger picture, and it's like also half of a story because like everything that's happening kind of in the main storyline is paired with Jeremy Irons' character in this like fantasy land, and eventually you find out like why that is and who he is. And it's also a show you can't talk too much about because like every episode is a spoiler. So it's definitely really cool. Special effects are pretty great, and like there's just tons of mystery to it. So it's definitely a good watch. What I liked even more that I saw was Ryan lent me the DVD of the first season of Harley Quinn. The mature Harley Quinn cartoon, and wow, like I expected it to be absurd and funny, but it's also like a really psychological and like, intelligent.
Like the first episode when you're put right in with Joker and Harley and how horrible he is to her.
Yeah. And
that comes back, I don't know, maybe 7-8 episodes later where she's going to take him back, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's like very slyly. The whole season is about like deprogramming this girl from like her toxic relationship. Like as she just finds her confidence in herself and her ability to like, be a solo act. Like the teammates she picks up along the way, like King Shark. Like no one's just a straight up villain. Like my favorite character is probably Bane because like he's a tough guy, but he's kind of like an
share.
Yeah, his whole personality. He's kind of like an office administrator. He's just kind of he complains about mundane things and tries to like act tough. But he's got like the Tom Hardy voice, and he's like getting coffee for the Joker. It's just really funny to like watch that character just kind of be like infantilized. And like Batman's in this show, and he has his own like relationship problems with Commissioner Gordon, who's like so strung out. But he's also like Commissioner Gordon sees Batman as like his best bud, and Batman doesn't really see that, or he doesn't acknowledge it as much as he should. So there's even like a whole episode of like teaching Batman to like respect Gordon more, and like getting Gordon to not be so clingy.
Yeah, there's a really funny Easter egg in season 2. Gordon has his shirt off and he has a tattoo of the little Clayface hand. It says "Never forget."
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that episode. Yeah.
I love too that Robin sounds like a little brat, like he sounds like a little kid, and Harley doesn't want him to be her like arch enemy.
Yeah, Yeah, it's great stuff. I can't wait to watch season 2. And then the last thing I saw was The Umbrella Academy. Season 2 is on Netflix, and it's kind of the same storyline as season 1, and hits a lot of the same beats. Like they're stopping the apocalypse again, but this time from like early 1960s Dallas, and a lot of it is just trying to track. Like when they jump back in time from the first season, they don't go together. They kind of like each drop in different years in the 60s. And so some of the characters experience like completely like years of their life differently than others. And like some have been in Dallas longer than others. I didn't think the whole storyline was as interesting as the first season, because it's really just like finding each other, being more like gelling more as a family unit. And solving like the mystery of like why they caused the new apocalypse. Like, it's like the snake eating its own tail. It's like, is what we're doing going to trigger what we're trying to stop, but overall I thought it was still, I just hope they do more different in the third season. Like, none of the seasons are trying to stop the apocalypse and, exploring like being depressed characters, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Cool. Can you give me like 5 minutes so I can put Kellen's pajamas on and stuff?
Yeah, do it while you're talking about your movies?
No, because I'll give me like 2 minutes. Talk amongst yourself. Hey, what's your favorite film from 1942?
Well, my favorite film from 1942 is hands down Casablanca. Although you could also make an argument for To Be or Not to Be. They're both among the top 5 films ever made in the history of forever.
You know what? I actually have to go. My chinchilla is chittering. So just keep talking about the 40s, Zach.
So Jack Benny was one of the greatest stars of the 40s. And he managed to innovate comedy in a way that nobody else could ever perceive. And Brad, where are you going? Brad, no. Well, anyway, I'll keep talking about the 40s. Anyway, so in 1942, America had just entered World War II. And we were all in a tizzy trying to figure out how we were going to defeat the Nazis. And then one day, a movie came out that taught us to spit in the face of our oppressing army of Germany, known as To Be or Not to Be. It spat in the face of Nazis, because why not? Nazis need to be made fun of. And anyway, it turned out to be one of the smartest comedies ever made, but nobody saw it, just like nobody is listening to me right now. This is all so sad. While everybody is gone, I'll actually talk about some serious news that just happened.
Oh my gosh, shut up, Zach.
Actually, hey, this is interesting. 2 men have just been indicted for the 2002 murder of Jam Master Jay of Run DMC. It turns out that some people that were actually initially suspected of the killing may have actually been involved. The 2 have been indicted and are awaiting arraignment, and one of them is currently being held in a New York correctional facility anyway. So yeah, that's interesting. I'd like them to put that murder case to rest, and hopefully some justice is found for dear old Jam Master Jay, who passed away. Not passed away, he was murdered. But anyway, so yeah. Corinne, what have you been up to? I don't want to talk about the 40s right now. It's not fun when nobody's listening to me and barely tolerating it.
Well, you just heard what I've been up to. I've literally just been watching a bunch of anime.
Oh, look, Brad's back. Now, in 1942, Casablanca was released. And naturally, as it was released, there was an actual conference in Casablanca with Winston Churchill and Franklin Delano Roosevelt basically proclaiming the freedom of that particular territory from Nazi oppression. And then the movie went on to win 3 Academy Awards and then was parodied on the Jack Benny program. Which, did I mention Jack Benny was in a great 1942 movie called To Be or Not to Be? And Brad, what are you doing? No!
Casablanca is like one of the best movies ever.
It is. It's the second greatest movie ever made. And you know, what's amazing about the film is that they didn't have everything pre-planned. The script was being rewritten up to the last minute. Julius Epstein and his brother were trying to figure out the ending. and they couldn't decide until they figured out the line, round up the usual suspects. Brad, no, don't sit that into your eye, no! But anyway, and then here's where it gets tricky. They wanted to reshoot a lot of that ending because, as you know, that ending they didn't want to have Ilsa go off with Victor. They wanted her to stay with Bogey. But unfortunately, it was too late for them to reshoot the ending because she had already changed her hairstyle and Paul Henry had already gone back to his ranch. And so therefore, Brad, no, heroin is bad for you, no!
You know what, Nick? You know what we should do to make sure that we keep Brad's interest is we should discuss which of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles we would cast as the main characters in Casablanca.
Well, Raphael would clearly be Rick Blaine.
Victor, I don't know.
Raphael would clearly be Rick Blaine. I think Michelangelo would be a combination of Ugatti, Ferrari, and Sam. I think he would just play all those roles.
Okay, I'm back to talk about what I watched this week.
Raph is Bogart. Watch the movie.
That's what I said. Raph is Rick Blaine. Rick Blaine is Bogart's part. Thank you, America.
So this week I watched season 2 of Harley Quinn. It's brilliant. This one deals with the fallout of the final episode of the first season, which I won't spoil for people because a lot of stuff happens. But there is a great Mr. Freeze episode who's voiced by Alfred Molina, also known as Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 2. And he has the same story arc where he's trying to save his wife, and they kind of have, it's really funny until the very end. And then it's a lot like the TV show Harley Quinn. If you watch it, it's funny. And then there's these really poignant moments that kind of take you by surprise. It's funny because there's a hole that's drilled in the ice slab of Nora Freeze, like that goes right into her mouth. And there's this dinner scene where he's pouring soup into her open mouth, and Harley jumps up and is like, "This sick motherfucker is fucking that every night." It's really funny. And I will say there's this part where Harley doesn't believe that she has a blood-like disease, so she unfreezes Nora. And the first thing Nora says is, "Oh, Victor, you found a cure for this disease that's going to kill me." It's like... So then they have to work to save Nora Freeze. It's really great. And then it's really heartbreaking. You should watch it. It's a great show. I thought I talked about Curse of the Werewolf, but I guess I didn't. I wasn't going to get the Scream Factory Collector's Edition of Curse of the Werewolf until I've read reviews about how great this werewolf movie was from 1961. It stars Oliver Reed, who was in Gladiator. We talked about Gladiator last week on Film Explosion 2000.
We did.
And so he stars as a guy named Leon, and he is cursed with being a werewolf. The setup for how he's a werewolf is a little bizarre and very, I don't know. His mother is a mute servant girl for a count in Spain, and then she's raped by some beggar and who looks like a monster, and so he's cursed with being a werewolf. It's actually really good. It delves a lot into where you come from and who you are, and the werewolf attack really doesn't happen till the very last maybe 20-30 minutes, and it's actually pretty violent for a film that came out in 1961. The werewolf transformation is pretty impressive. The makeup looks really great. It's a really well-made horror film. It starts a little slow, but it's okay. I don't mind horror films if they start slow, if they spend time with the characters. And The Curse of the Werewolf definitely lets the characters breathe. And so I recommend, if you're a fan of Hammer horror and you like gothic horror films, this one is a great one because, like I said, it deals with... it deals with the trauma of being cursed with something that you had no part of, and the toll it takes on you, like a lot of werewolf films where you're killing somebody and you really don't want to. I'd always love to see the other side of it, werewolf that loves being a werewolf. There's not too many of those films. Yeah, but that's because he's good at basketball. I'm talking about...
Ryan, have you seen the Twilight series?
Yeah, it's garbage. Those aren't werewolves. Those are pretty boys that turn into wolves.
I mean,
Underworld.
they address it in the fourth one where they say that they're not actual werewolves. They call
Yeah,
them
I
children
mean,
of the moon or whatever, but
I don't remember. All I remember is we saw the fourth film, and we never saw the other three. So that week, I watched all three films leading up to the fourth, and it was the worst week of movie watching I've ever had in my life. I did like Billy Burke as the dad in it a lot, and I don't remember if it's the third or fourth one where Werewolf Boy, I don't even remember his name, walks
Jacob.
walks up to him without a shirt on, and he says, "Do you ever wear a shirt?" And I thought that was really funny.
probably the fourth one.
Like I said, I don't remember because they're all garbage. So none of them, I don't remember specific things from each one. I just remember in the fourth one, I actually got excited when everyone started getting killed. I said, "Oh shit, the stakes are for real." And then they Bob Newharted it and they said, "It's just a dream." Thank you, Zach, the only person who got my 30,
That's such an obscure fucking reference.
30-year-old joke. So yeah, but Curse of the Werewolf is great. I'll probably have my Scream Factory Crypt for it really soon. It's a collector's edition, and there's tons of shit on it, so it took me a long time to get through it. You know, the ones that have 2 or 3 commentaries are always really rough because you have to watch the movie 2 or 3 times. So I space it out.
Yeah.
Like the Hills Run Red, I think has 5 commentaries on it, and I've listened to 2 of them. So
How's the makeup in this one?
The Curse of the Werewolf?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Okay.
You should definitely check it out. Oliver Reed's fantastic in it. Everybody acting in it's really great. So yeah, I would definitely check it out. You might want to wait. I mean, I'm a Scream Factory fan. I think it's $26 right now. I'm sure at some point it'll be on sale. But always keep an eye on, stuff for Scream Factory because they do go out of print. I also watched a Western that I haven't seen in a really long time called My Darling Clementine, which I got maybe a year ago on the Barnes & Noble when they do the half off for Criterion movies. And My Darling Clementine deals with the shootout at the OK Corral, which is Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. And it's a pretty great movie. It's not historically accurate at all. Doc Holliday in this version dies at the shootout where he really dies in Colorado a couple years later from tuberculosis and alcohol abuse. But what you get is an incredibly powerful performance from Henry Fonda. It's directed by John Ford, who's great. And, they start with, the song, and everyone knows My Darling Clementine, the song. It's shot really well. You're not supposed to like Doc Holliday. He's not a likable character in this. It's really well done. So if you like Westerns and you like John Ford and you like Criterions, I think you should definitely get it. They did a remaster of it. What was really fascinating watching the film is this version, the theatrical version, was heavily edited. And it's not what John Ford wanted. And the Criterion includes, they call it the pre-release version, which when you look at it, it's only 6 minutes longer, but the scenes are shot differently. And I don't know why, I forget who the producer was. It might be Selznick. I can't remember. But really mess with it. And so he would cut some edits and he would do extreme close-ups of people's faces where John Ford would pull the camera back. It's really great. And the Criterion has some really great features on it. The best is the pre-release version of the movie.
Oh, no, it's not Selznick, it's Engel. Because he was this was when Ford was over at Fox, where that's when he was pumping out some of his best work. I've never heard of the fact that the movie got butchered. I've seen the movie once, but I don't remember stories about it being butchered. So that's interesting.
Yeah, if you want to, it's fascinating watching the two separate, and the soundtrack is different.
Okay.
It's pretty. I mean, in the theatrical form, it's still one of the best Westerns. But the pre-release, it's like you're watching, not technically two different movies, but you can see the makings of the film that wasn't, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, if you can get it on sale, because it's one of those Criterions for some reason is always still $30 on Amazon. that and Night of the Hunter for some reason.
Well,
but if you get it for $20 at Barnes & Noble, it's definitely worth it.
I think part of the reason Night of the Hunter is still as expensive as it is because it's part of a collaboration with UCLA Film Restoration, and like that was like a big undertaking for them, and it's a 2-discer that includes that whole documentary about Lawton's direction.
Oh yeah, no, it's a freaking great disc. I think everybody should pick up that release.
Watch Night of the Hunter, guys. It's amazing.
Yes, it really is. I also watched The Graveyard Shift. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. And we talked about it when it was coming out, and it is what I remember. It's a story about these guys that work at a textile plant, and they're in charge of cleaning up the basement that has a lot of rats, but there's also like this rat vampire that's eating people. So it's kind of a monster movie. It's pretty violent. It's okay. It was one of a favorite of mine growing up. And, as you get older, you still have the charm to some of these horror films, but then you start seeing the flaws when you watch tons and tons of movies. Mm-hmm. But it's still like a good midnight movie because the rats in it that are all over the basement also worship this vampire rat monster thing. And so they'll trip people that make them fall down the stairs, and then the vampire rat will eat them. The acting in it is not good. But yeah, I definitely think you should check it out if you like cheesy B movies. It's fun. It's not great, if that makes any sense. Midnight movie. It's a midnight movie.
That answers my question from a couple weeks back of should I buy this. I think I'll rent it on digital first before I.
Or you can borrow my disc. Is fine.
Okay, cool.
I would definitely say it's a rental if you're not sure if you're going to like a Monster B movie.
I mean, I'm usually down to dive into those head first. Regardless.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing is only. Well, I won't spoil it, but the makeup of the creature effects are pretty great. It's animatronic, so it looks cool. The direction is okay, but yeah, it's all right. It's fun. It's a fun movie. And then I also watched Kellen picked Super 8 to watch a week ago. Kellen always wants to watch movies with monsters or kids doing stuff. So I said, oh, here's one with kids who discover a monster. And I still love this film. It's still beautiful. It's a really cool movie. And it holds up well. I was wondering if Kellen would like it because it starts with, the monster takes a little bit to get there. But he still liked the kids, and it's a fun movie.
I remember loving the experience of that in an IMAX theater.
Yeah, no, it's a really great movie. It's still one of my favorites from 2012.
11 is our second episode.
Oh, 2011. It's still one of my favorite films from 2011. So yeah, that's a fun movie.
Yeah, and the film they make at the end, like they show the film that they made at the end.
Oh yeah, classic.
It's one of the greatest zombie movies ever made.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And the last thing I watched was The Hitman's Bodyguard, which I guess I liked a lot more than everybody else because on Letterboxd I think people give it 2 stars. But I was watching it with Laura last night, and as I was watching, I said, they don't make movies very much anymore where it's 2 dudes on the run, killing lots of people, lots of cussing. That style of filmmaking and story, they do it enough, but where it's just blatantly rated R and they don't make any issues with it, it just happens. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I thought it was pretty funny. Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson are pretty great together. It's just I can't pinpoint moments in it just because there's so many quips in it. But I like the use of the music in it. They did Little Queenie when there's a huge fight going on, which is really fun. Yeah, it's just fun. It's a action movie with cussing.
I don't remember any of it, and I saw it in the theater.
I know. I saw you. I think you gave it 2 stars. I'm like, oh, I like this a lot more than you did. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun.
Sweet.
And that's what I watched this week. This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we got a life. we rewatched Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Brad, should people revisit Scott Pilgrim?
Absolutely.
Corinne, should people revisit Scott Pilgrim?
Sure.
Zach, should people revisit Scott Pilgrim?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just make this, 3 of 4. Totally. It's a great movie and lots of fun. And there's characters in it, or actors in it, that you go, wow, they got a lot of amazing actors earlier in their careers.
Oh,
Here's the what?
I was saying, oh yeah, I was agreeing with you.
Here's the trailer for Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Hey, what's up? I'll leave you alone forever now. You know this one girl with hair like this?
Yes, that's Ramona Flowers.
She's out of your league.
You know her? Tell me now.
She just moved here, got a job at Amazon.
I have to order something really cool.
Scott, are you waiting for the package you just ordered?
Maybe.
Scott Pilgrim?
Hi, I was thinking about asking you out, but then I realized how stupid that would be.
That's okay. You just need to sign for this, all right?
So do you want to go out sometime?
If I say yes, will you sign for your damn package?
So yeah, 8 o'clock? Come to this Battle of the Bands thing.
You have a band.
Yeah, we're terrible.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Mr. Pilgrim! I'm Ramona's first evil ex-boyfriend.
What?
Wait, we're fighting over Ramona?
Didn't you get my email explaining the situation?
I skimmed it.
Mm-mm.
What was that all about?
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes.
So what you're saying is we are dating?
I guess.
Does that mean we can make out?
Sure.
Scott Pilgrim! Prepare to feel the wrath of the League of Evil Exes.
Ramona dated twins.
At the same time? If you want something bad, you have to fight for it. Step up your game, Scott.
Combo!
Break out the L word.
Lesbian?
The other L word.
Lesbians?
What are you doing?
Getting a life.
You want to fight me for her? Why on earth would you want to do that?
Because I'm in love with her.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Maybe next time we don't date the girl with 11 evil ex-boyfriends.
7.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a story about a young Canadian man who falls in love with an Amazon delivery lady named Ramona Flowers. And by doing this, he learns that he has to battle her 7 evil exes. And each fight in it is different. It plays like a video game, comic book, movie. Visually, it's amazing. Yeah. Every time I watch the movie, I've watched it a few weeks ago, and I watched it again preparing for this episode. It's a movie I can always watch. There's always something cool happening. It's funny. And nothing in the world should make sense, but everything makes sense. You know what I mean? There's one of my most favorite moments, and it feels like a movie I would make, where there's a part where Scott comes into his apartment and immediately goes to Seinfeld sitcom moment where there's laugh tracks and the jokes are really stupid. And it's, I love, you should cut your hair, and he puts his hat on again. And then it goes, Scott is well aware the last time he cut his hair was so many days ago. I fucking love this movie.
Yeah. Oh god, it was interesting rewatch. So, when at the time that this came out, we only had Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and this for Edgar Wright. Well, I guess the Don't trailer, but that's not a movie. So like when this came out, I went back to this so many times in the theaters, and I was convinced. I'm like, well, this is clearly Edgar Wright's best movie. He's made the best movie. And then he, obviously he's gone down the line and made World's End and Baby Driver. So I'm still trying to figure out where I place this in a ranking, because
but like it still packs a punch. And I was worried rewatching it last night, because I haven't watched it in a couple of years, of how Scott Pilgrim as a character would feel all these years later, because he's not a great person. Throughout the movie, he has to learn how to be a better person throughout the course of this film, whether it's the power of love or power of self-respect. But it holds amazingly well as a different like commentary on formulas of romantic films, but also just the world they set it in. Like Edgar Wright found a way to externalize the different drama and vast emotions of Rose through this fight movie, which is really fantastic. And I don't think there's a bad performance in the movie. Like, rarely do you see a movie where there's not like one performer you can like single out as like a weak link. Like, I can't find a single weak link in the performances in this film. Like, I forgot Brandon Routh was in this movie. He's great as the vegan.
He's not vegan.
Yeah, no vegan diet, no vegan powers. And Kieran Culkin, I don't know what happened to him, but I think he should have gotten more after playing Wallace, because that's a great side character in that movie. Like, I love the moment when Scott's sleeping and Wallace comes into the apartment and goes, "Guess who's drunk? My guess is Wallace." "You guessed right." And he just hits it with his keys. It's beautifully directed. Like, I guess I read in the behind the scenes that Edgar Wright doesn't like to do second unit. He likes to be supervising every angle of it. So that's part of the reason why this movie took as long as it did to make. But it paid off in stride, because every angle or frame of this film has a control and mastery behind it that only he's capable of pulling off.
It's funny you say that. I read a whole article, Entertainment Weekly, about the making of it and the 10th anniversary. And Edgar Wright had every single shot planned. And it was down to, Michael Cera said he had it down to on dialogue where you would turn your head at a certain word. And he had it that planned out. And I knew he did that. If you watch the special features for Shaun of the Dead, he actually has an easel where he writes out the whole movie and how it's going to play out. And you can tell, it's really well thought out. Everything has a purpose, and it's a really great retrospective. If you have opportunity, go to entertainmentweekly.com and read it. It's a pretty lengthy article, and it's interviews with Michael Cera, Edgar Wright, and and Chris Evans, and a lot of the big stars of it, on how hard they worked. And it shows. The movie's incredibly entertaining.
This is an example of how long it's been since I've watched the movie. Since I last watched the movie, we've had Chris Evans become Captain America, and like that's the image we have of him now. When I rewatched it, I was just laughing my butt off at every line Chris Evans has in this movie is fucking hysterical. Like, and he's only in it for a little bit, but man, God, he's great when he's an asshole too.
This is a movie too that I got a huge crush on Mary Elizabeth Winstead. A lot of people will say maybe Die Hard or something, but this one is the one where I was like, oh yeah, I can see why he likes this girl.
Yeah, and Ellen Wong as Knives, like that's still a pretty damn great performance.
Oh, yeah, it's a great character.
The one thing that I remember from the graphic novel that like I'm glad they got it in the film is like when he's saying like when they got their first gig and she jumps in and goes, "Oh my gosh, when?"
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Corinne, what do you think of Scott Pilgrim?
Well, I actually didn't get around to rewatching it. Sorry, ran out of time. But if Brad is okay with it, we can replay when I recorded it for Catching the Classics last year.
Hey nerds, Corinne here for part 25 of Catching the Classics, where I watch famous and popular movies I've never seen before and send in my review. This week, all of you voted for me to watch Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And I had some problems with it, but overall I liked it. Going into the movie, I knew the basic premise of like how Scott, played by Michael Cera, has to fight all of, this prospective girlfriend's evil exes, and knew some of the cast members, like I knew Chris Evans was in it. And oh my gosh, I loved his character. I liked how like weirdly meta and self-aware it was. I don't really like Michael Cera as an actor. I feel like he gets typecast as this kind of milquetoast sort of character a lot of the time. He did pretty good though. I think that it was kind of fitting here. Everybody else did a great job. I think the thing about this movie that I really, really enjoyed was the action and the style of it. You know, just like all the different like comic book components that would pop up and video game references and things like that. It's a very stylized movie and has a lot of those Edgar Wright like quick cuts and weird transitions, and it works out really well. And I think it keeps it moving pretty good for the first 20-25 minutes. I think it kind of slows down a little bit right before the first Evil X pops up. And other than that, I guess the worst thing I can say about the movie is I didn't really like how it treated its female characters and how it framed them within the narrative of, or like from the male character's perspective. And that's an entire rant I could go on, so I will spare you. I will say that I was really not feeling how, like, I was not really appreciating how these characters were framed and treated. And then the kind of twist happens in the climax, and I was like, oh, that makes it better, but still not perfect, but it makes it better. And so I appreciated that it was more about Scott realizing that he has to fight for himself and not for Ramona, that she's some kind of prize to be won, which, if, like I said, it's an entire rant I could go on, but I won't. Yeah. Don't really have much to say other than that, surprisingly. It was a good movie. It was worth watching, but I wouldn't own it. I'd probably watch it again, maybe in a couple years, but I wasn't like goo goo gaga for it. But yeah, I liked it. I still think I like oh crap, now I can't think of the zombie movie. Shaun of the Dead. I like Shaun of the Dead of the Edgar Wright films the best. And then I'd say I'd put this one above Baby Driver and Hot Fuzz. So I guess this is like the second best of the Edgar Wright films I've seen. I don't know. I haven't seen Hot Fuzz in a while, so yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just the performances and the pacing, and it's just kind of this weird concept. And I guess one thing that kind of bugged me was, like, how casual they all were about, like, probably murdering people. Like, I think 20-some people die in this movie, and it's like, nobody cares or mentions it, really. It's very bizarre. So, anyway, there's that, and, yeah, I think I'll give it 3.5, 4 stars, I guess, if we're doing the full star system. But yeah, 3.5 or 4 stars, which I think is pretty fair. So, yeah, like I said, not a lot to say on it. So yeah. Next time I will be watching Top Hat, the movie with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Yeah, we're taking it way back this next time. So hope you all had fun at it this weekend. And I think that's the movie you were all gonna see. Yeah, It, Chapter 2, whatever. Hope you all had fun at that, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Find it, Brad.
Thanks for giving me the work of finding that.
No, I have it on file. I can send it to you.
Okay.
Cool. Brad, did you want to chime in on anything with Scott Pilgrim? He seems nice.
Huh?
My Chris Evans.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's like one of the most dynamic movies I've ever seen. It takes off, like, right from the get-go. You've got the 8-bit version of the Universal logo, and then after that, it's just like full speed ahead, never stops, never slows down. Every frame is just filled with the story and then stuff going on in the background that's interesting too. It's funny. There's just so much energy in the movie. it's impressive. Like,
it's one of those movies that's almost 2 hours long, but it seems really fast.
yeah, and it's just it's so dense. Like, one of my favorite gags is Wallace answers the door and Scott's trying to like avoid who's ever. I think it's Knives at the door, and he like the camera's shifting. Like, it's just this little sliver of like what you can see through the door, and the camera's moving left and right just a little bit, and you can see like Zach or Scott's like zipping around in the background, and finally he just jumps through the side window, even though like technically there's just a dirt hill,
yeah,
because it's an underground apartment. It's like there's just so much detail, like meticulousness to like moving the camera and telling the story, and then all like the like animation overlays and references to video games. Yeah, it's so impressive. Like, it's a shame I only ever got to watch it one time when it first came out in the theater. They had a midnight of it recently, so I got to see it like on the big screen again. But when it first came out, like I did not help it because as great as it is, people did not notice right away, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it's everything works in the movie, and it's the thing I love most about Edgar Wright films is they're fun. You know, I think sometimes that's missing a lot in movies where it has to be dour or down all the time. Edgar Wright just makes fun movies.
Yeah, it never stops. Like, there's just something going on at all times in the foreground and background of this movie. It's just so impressive. Like, there's just so much planning and like keeping things moving.
I'd argue it's easily the best one of amongst, if not the best directed film on a technical scale of 2010.
Oh yeah,
because how much you have to accomplish to pull what he's wanting to pull off. The amount of background details Brad was alluding to, and also just the way everybody's positioned, like, it doesn't feel unnatural considering that they're capturing this kind of video game aesthetic. Like, every movement of the actors feels natural to the world they've set up. Like, you alluded to it earlier, Ryan, like there's things in the world that shouldn't work, but I think you're hooked in based on his visual scheme. You are just hooked into it and will believe anything going forward. Like, I don't think you can, like, there's not a moment of disbelief in the movie either. And like, something that's amazing about it, I noticed it the first time I ever saw it, and it's always stuck with me, is because of the graphic novel that he's adapting and the world of like media references that he's able to pull off with video games, comics, etc. He's able to tell a love story with visual schemes that you would otherwise have to do in like a romantic drama that's like an ethereal thing by like Del Toro or Gilliam, whereas he's able to just pull this off. Like, I love the final shot of the movie after they go through the door, camera pans up and it goes back to that continue 5, 4, 3, 2. Like, it's a beautiful piece of the storytelling to end the movie. Like, there's not a frame in this film that isn't like a stroke of a master painter.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Yep.
You should see it. Next week on Real Nerds, it's a return to the movie theaters with the Russell Crowe action thriller Unhinged.
Yeah.
Or, as Brad's now calling it, Maximus Overdrive. So it'll be exciting to see a movie on the big screen again. Thanks for sticking with us through this Nerdemic, and I hope we entertained you during the time.
We may go back. There's no guarantee this is a sustained return, so
it will be positive. It'll be sustained. So says me. Thanks for listening, and next week we'll see you at the movies. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.